بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله رب العالمين العاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we continue going over the tremendously beneficial book that is small in its size but tremendous in its value, and that is the book that was authored by the Fadilat Shaykh Al-Allama Al-Imam bin Baz Rahmatullah Alayh. The book, which is entitled Durus al-Muhimma li'amat al-Ummah, the important lessons for every Muslim, or the important lessons for every Muslim. We had reached the portion still upon the first lesson, and that is the lesson that is dealing with those small yet tremendous chapters from the Qur'an, starting with Surah Al-Fatiha, and then from Surah Al-Zalzala until Surah Al-Nas, from Surah Zalzala until Surah Al-Nas. We have reached the Surah Al-Qari'ah. We have reached Surah Al-Qari'ah, the striking hour. The striking hour. And again, as a reminder, for those who want to truly benefit from these lessons, then it will behoove them to memorize the surah and to review the surah and the like. على كل حال قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And as a review, the Sheikh Abdul Razak Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he mentioned that there is a difference of opinion as relates to the Basmala. That there's a difference of opinion as relates to the Basmala, meaning whether or not the Basmala is an ayah. Whether or not the Basmala, it is an ayah. Who remembers the strongest of the opinions as relates to whether or not the Basmala is an ayah? Because remember, it said that is the Basmala an ayah of every surah, or is it an ayah that is separate unto itself? Or is an ayah that is a separate ayah unto itself? Does anyone remember the strongest of the opinions as relates to the Basmala? Well, as far as Surah Al-Fatiha, then we know the Basmala, it is what? It is an ayah from Surah Al-Fatiha. So in Surah Al-Fatiha, the Basmala, it is an ayah from the surah itself. Right? And we know that there is no Basmala in front of what surah? Surah At-Tawbah. Naam. There's no Basmala in front of Surah At-Tawbah. طيب. Who has the answer? من عنده? It's separate for what? It's a separate what? Naam. It's a separate ayah by itself, but it's not connected to the vast majority of the chapters, but it comes as its own ayah. Naam. And the ulama, they mention as a proof of this, in which that which indicates this fact to us, is that the Sahaba, they didn't write inside of the Mus'haf anything except the Qur'an. Now, they only wrote the ayat down inside of the Mus'haf. So the fact that the Basmala comes before every surah, as we mentioned, except before Surah At-Tawbah, then this is an indication that the Basmala, it is an ayah. But the strongest opinion is that it is an ayah that is separate unto itself. Is an ayah that is separate unto itself and is not a part of the surah in the vast majority where it comes, except for, of course, in Surah Al-Fatiha, for example, where it is an ayah from the surah. But so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Al-Qari'ah, Mal-Qari'ah, وَمَا أَدَرَاكَ مَا-Al-Qari'ah, يَوْمَ يَكُونُ النَّاسُ كَالْفَرَاشِ الْمَبْثُوثِ وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says what means. Al-Qari'ah. Al-Qari'ah. Shaykh Abdul Razak, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he mentions Al-Qari'ah, هذا اسم من أسماء يوم القيامة. He says that Al-Qari'ah, then this is a name from the names of the Day of Judgment. Al-Qari'ah, it is a name from the names of the Day of Judgment. Naam. And as we mentioned before, the Day of Judgment, it has many names. It has many names. And the reason that it has many names, the Shaykh, he mentions, he says, وَقَدْ تَعَدَّدَتْ أَسْمَاؤُهَا, that the names of the Day of Judgment, then there are many. There are many. Naam. لِتَعَدُّدِ صِفَاتِهَا, due to the fact that the Day of Judgment has many different descriptions. So you find that each of the names of the Day of Judgment then is indicative of a description of the Day of Judgment. Naam. That each of the names of the Day of Judgment, then it comes bearing a description of the Day of Judgment. For example, the Day of Judgment is called Yawmul Qiyamah, the day of Al-Qiyamah. Naam. And Qiyamah meaning the standing. That this is the day of what? Standing. Naam, because the human beings will be standing. Right? So thus is called Yawmul Qiyamah, because this is a description of the Day of Judgment. Likewise here, Allah Ta'ala, He says Al-Qari'ah, which is the name of the Day of Judgment. Al-Qari'ah, because this is a description of the Day of Judgment. Naam. فَهِيَ أَعْلَامٌ وَأَوْصَافٌ. So Al-Qari'ah, it is a sign and it is a description of the Day of Judgment. It's a sign of the Day of Judgment and it is a description of the Day of Judgment. لأنها دالة على أوصاف عظيمة لذلك اليوم. Because this points to a tremendous attribute or characteristic of this day. It points to a tremendous characteristic of this day, of the Day of Judgment. A tremendous characteristic. So then what is Al-Qari'ah? What is the meaning of Al-Qari'ah? As we mentioned, it is a description of the Day of Judgment, and it points to a tremendous characteristic of the Day of Judgment. A tremendous characteristic of the Day of Judgment. Shaykh Abdul Razak, he mentions Al-Qari'ah, أي التي تقرع القلوب والأسماع من هول شدتها. That Al-Qari'ah, what is translated as the striking hour, because it is that which will strike inside of their hearts and to be heard in the hearing. It's a striking hour, and this is due to the severity of it. That the Day of Judgment, and it's important that we remember this fact, is that it is not a day of ease. Meaning, this is not a light affair. It's not a light affair. Na'am. Na'am. Allah Azza wa Jalla tells that the day of judgment will be easier for the believers. It will be difficult for the disbelievers. Na'am. But in general, what? The day of judgment is a serious day. It's a serious day. It's a day that itself is serious. And thus you have all of these descriptions and all of these names for the day of judgment, because they show the severity of that day, that this is a day that is not like any other day. This is a day that is unprecedented in its seriousness. It will be unprecedented, in the fear that will be on this day. This is a day not like any other day. It's a serious day. So this is, Allah Ta'ala, He says, Al-Qari'ah, the striking hour. The striking hour. Na'am. Because it will strike terror inside of the hearts, na'am, of the human beings. And this is due to, the Shaykh, he mentions, عِظَمْ خَطْبِهَا. This is due to the greatness of the affair. That this affair is great. This is a day that is serious, and we need to remember that, because we get so caught up, or the human being gets so caught up in the day-to-day life that, and they may look at things as being important now, and these things are of temporary importance and relative importance, but when compared to the day of judgment, they are nothing. They are nothing even to be thought about or to be worried about as relates to the day of judgment. So we should not allow these day-to-day things to distract us from the preparation of this serious day. How many people they prepare for retirement? Retirement is a day, it may or may not come for us. Some of us, we may die before we get a chance to retire. Some of us, due to our situations, may never be able to retire. We'll be working all the way up until our 80s and whatever, until we die. But in any event, people prepare for such a day. But when we look at the retirement day and what is planned for such and so on and so forth, and the consequences of planning or not planning for it, it's nothing compared to the day of judgment. The day of judgment is serious, but yet people will devote years for their life preparing for retirement, yet they are neglectful of the day of judgment. Or how many people prepare for the graduation day? Prepare for the graduation day. Whatever it takes, stay up nights, pulling all-nighters, because they have to pass this exam, they have to turn in this paper, they have to do this research, and so on and so forth, all looking for what? Retirement. For graduation. All looking for graduation. But the preparation for the day of graduation, or the lack thereof, is inconsequential as relates to the day of judgment. If a person doesn't prepare for graduation, meaning he never graduates, he doesn't get anything from graduation, in the full scheme of things, does that really hurt him like that? If he's a believer? No, not at all. No problem. The dunya is about to be over anyway. However, if an individual does not prepare for the day of judgment, what effect will that have on that individual? The effect will be great. Now, it will be a detriment unlike any other detriment. It will be the worst of all affairs for him. Because now for this individual will be the hellfire, wa'iyadu billah. So it is important that we remember that this is a serious day. Allah Ta'ala, He tells us here in this ayah, Al-Qari'ah. This alone, when a person hears this alone, this first ayah, the full of his attention should be there. Now, and what adds to that is Allah Ta'ala's statement as it comes inside of the next ayah. Allah Ta'ala says, Mal Qari'ah. Naam. This was from the uslub of the Arab. Is that when something was important and they want to draw your attention to the importance of something, the thing will be mentioned. And then it will be reiterated in the form of a question asking, and do you know what that is? so as to show you that this is something that is tremendous. This is something that you need to pay attention to. This is something that is very important. This is something that should alarm you in some cases. Now, so the Shaykh, he mentions here, he says, Allah Ta'ala, he mentions, مَا الْقَارِعَةِ وَمَا أَدَرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةِ. And what is the striking hour? And what will make you know what the striking hour is? The Shaykh, he says, هَذَا وَهَذَا إِسْتِفْهَامٌ لِتَهْوِيلٍ. He said, and this is a question so as to alarm you. So as to alarm you. Ma'am, it's an alarming question. وَبَيَانٍ عِظَمِ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ. And it explains the seriousness of this day. And that this is a tremendous day. It's not like any other day. وَأَنَّهُ يَوْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. And that it is a day that is tremendous. وَيَوْمٌ شَدِيدٌ. And it's a difficult day. This will be a very hard day. Not an easy day, but a very hard day, a tremendous day. So it is incumbent and it will behoove the one who has an intellect that he prepares for such a day. He prepares for this day. Now, and that he is earnest in his preparation for this day, or that she is earnest in her preparation for this day, because this is a day that we're all going to experience. Unlike graduation day, unlike retirement day, or any other day from the days which we may or may not experience, but the day of judgment is a day that everyone will experience. No one will be excused from it. Everyone will experience it. So it is incumbent and a must that we take it serious. Allah Azza wa Jal, He explains to us the state of the human beings upon this day by bringing forth to us a similitude of how the human beings are going to be upon this day. Allah Ta'ala, He says, يَوْمَ يَكُونُ النَّاسُ كَالْفَرَاشِ الْمَبْثُوثِ. That this is the day, on this day, mankind, they will be like scattered moths. Mankind, they will be like scattered moths. Ma'am, this description has much in it for us to contemplate over. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that the human beings will be like scattered moths. And Shaykh Abdul Razak, hafidhahullah ta'ala, he says, في ذلك اليوم تكون حال الناس في موجان بعضهم ببعض. That on this day, the human beings, they will be in waves. They will be like in waves over one another. They will be in waves over one another. Everyone gathered all together, almost on top of one another. وَإِخْتِلَاطِ بَعْضِهِمْ بِبَعْضٍ. And they will be intermixed and scattered about, كَالْفَرَاشِ, like moths, like a moth, that the insect, the moth. Na'am. This is how the human beings will be. They will be like a swarm of moths. Na'am. عندما ينتشر ويموج بعضه في بعض. They will be like moths when moths disperse, and then they come in waves upon each other. They come rolling on each other, na'am, in waves over each other. This is how the human beings they will be. وَهُوَ نَظِيرُ قَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى. And this is similar to Allah Ta'ala's statement في آية الأخرى, inside of another ayah, where Allah Ta'ala, He says, كَأَنَّهُمْ جَرَادٌ مُنْتَشِرٌ. And they will be like locusts scattered about. They will come like a swarm of locusts scattered about. Imam Sa'di, rahmatullah alayhi, he mentions a tremendous benefit as relates to this. As Imam Sa'di, he says, a كَالْجَرَادٌ مُنْتَشِرٌ. They will be like these locusts scattered about. الَّذِي يَمُوجُ بَعْضُهُ فِي بَعْضٍ. Those who they come upon one another. They're like in waves over one another. وَالْفِرَاشِ, and the moth, هِيَ حَيَوَانَاتٍ الَّتِي تَكُونُ فِي اللَّيْلِ. These are nocturnal animals, right? Or nocturnal insects. The moth is a nocturnal insect. Listen to what Imam al-Sa'di mentions. It's a very important point that may be lost upon many. He says, يَمُوجُ بَعْضُهَا بِبَعْضٍ لَا تَدْرِ أَيْنَ تُوَجَّهُ أو تُوَجَّهُ. That they roll upon each other and they are in, what do you say? Like they're in waves upon each other, scattered about. Now, to the point where they don't know where they're going. They're not moving in any particular direction. You see, it's not like, for example, birds, a flock of birds. See, a flock of birds, they may fly in a synchronous pattern. When one, when the bird at the head of it goes right, then they all go right. When it goes left, they all go left. It goes up, they go up. They go down, they go down. So they move in a synchronous pattern. Whereas anyone who knows or has seen or experienced moths, they don't do this. They're pretty much all scattered all over, not moving in any one particular direction. You may have one moving right, the other one moving left, one moving down, moving like this, to the point where they even bump into each other. They fly into each other. Now, due to the manner they're moving in the chaotic manner in which they are moving, Allah Azza wa Jal, He describes human beings, Yawmul Qiyamah, this is how they will be. Moving like moths. Now, in a chaotic way. Moving like moths. Now, Imam al-Sa'di, he says that these moths, إِذَا أَوْقَدَ لَهَا نَارٌ تَهَافَتَتْ إِلَيْهَا, is that if a fire was lit, if a fire is lit at nighttime, then you have the moths, they fly to the fire. They'll fly right into the fire, right into the danger. Why? The Shaykh, he says, لِضَعْفِ إِضْرَاكِهَا. And this is due to the weakness of its understanding, due to the weakness of its mind, of its intellect. Now, due to the weakness of his mind, due to the da'f of his mind, of its intelligence, it'll fly right into the fire. It'll fly right into harm's way. So now listen. Imam al-Sa'di, he says, فَهَذِهِ حَالُ النَّاسِ أَهْلَ الْعُقُولِ. This will be the state of the human beings, those who have intellects. That on the day of judgment, it will be something that will be so tremendously terrifying that the human beings will be moving about like animals who have very weak intellects. Now, that all of their intelligence, all of their fine things that they used to say and so on and so forth, right? Gone. 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 Because this is a striking hour. This is a striking hour. Now, this will be the state of human beings. This right here alone shows us that this day is not like any other day. Because prior to this, the human beings, they had something from intelligence. They used to use their minds. But on this day, it will be so tremendous that the human being, he'll be dumbfounded due to the occurrences that will be happening on this day. This is the state of the human beings. What about the mountains? What about the mountains? Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالِ. And the mountains, أي الصُّمْ وَالصِّلَابِ الْقَوِيِّ المتماسكة المتينة, that these mountains that are firm, they are solid. In the dunya, the mountain is solid, right? It's firm, it's strong, it's cohesive, right? It's cohesive and it's very tough. This is the description of the mountains today. This here is a description of what? Of the mountains. The mountains are strong, they're solid. They have a statement that those who try to foolishly, from the juhad, from the ignorant ones, and they want to argue with the likes of Shaykh al-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah, or Imam Ahmad, and so on and so forth, right? The a'lam of the deen. They say it's like trying to butt heads with a mountain. It's like trying to butt heads with a mountain. Because that's a situation, a scenario that you're not going to win. You're not going to come out favorably if you butt heads with a mountain. And this is due to what? Due to the solidness and the cohesiveness of the mountains. You're not going to win that one. But this day is a day that's not like any other days. Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us about these mountains that right now is strong. If you try to butt your head against it, you'll hurt yourself, right? If you try to push it, it's not going to move. Strong. But Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the day of Al-Qari'ah, the mountains, كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ, they will be like carded wool. They will be like carded wool. This is how the mountains will be on that day. Like wool. Carded wool. Right? Wool that has begun to go through the process. You understand? Where it's combed and so on and so forth. It's carded wool. And if anyone has ever touched or seen such, it's not very strong. It's not very strong at all. Right? Not very strong at all. The Shaykh, he says, a kasuf, manduf, it's like wool that has been combed or carded. That has been combed or carded. Could you imagine? You know, as they put the wool inside of those devices, and it pulls it, and it pulls it, and it pulls it, right? This is how you comb the wool, or this is how you will card the wool, like this, right? So even though, even by itself, it's not really strong and thick, but when it goes through this process, it becomes even more stretched out and even more thin, right? It's almost like if you take a cotton ball and you pull it from each side and pull, it becomes very, very, thin. It started off flimsy, but then it becomes even more now, thin and flimsy. Allah Azza wa Jalla described that this is how the mountains are going to be. Asbaha, that the mountains, they're going to be like, they will become like, ba'da nadfin, after it's been combed, kuman, after it'd be like this wool that it will become, that even after it had been combed like this, but yet collected, meaning that it won't be scattered like dust. It'll still be there, but it won't have any cohesiveness to it. It won't have any cohesiveness to it. It won't be solid at all. Naam. So the Shaykh, he mentions, لَكِنَّهُ غَيْرُ مُتَمَاسِكًا or مُتَمَاسِكٍ, but it will not be cohesive. It will not be cohesive. بِحَيْثُ لَوْ هَبَّ هَوَاءٌ يَسِيرُ تَلَاشِي. He said, to the point that if a strong enough wind would have come by to strike it, it'll go away. This is how it will be lacking in cohesiveness. This is how it will not be solid at all. That if a strong enough wind came by, it'll go away. فَتَذْهَبُ عَنْ تِلْكَ الْجِبَالِ سُلَابَتُهَا. So it will leave from the mountains their strength. وَقُوَّتُهَا, and their solidness and their strength will leave from the mountains. They will no longer be as they were in this dunya. And all of this is an indication that this day is not like any other day. This day is not like any other day. نعم. ثم بين حال الناس في ذلك اليوم. And then Allah Ta'ala, He describes how the people are going to be on that day. What will be the situation of human beings upon that day? And the situation upon that day, and this is serious. وَأَنَّهُمْ عَلَى قِسْمَيْنِ, that there will be two types, two categories. There will be two situations upon that day. No third, just two. Two situations upon that day. And if we want to prepare for such, then that preparation comes from today, comes from right now, right? Comes from right now. The situation of human beings on that day, it will either be this or it will either be that. There's no third option. There's no third option. Allah Ta'ala, He says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. And as for the one who his scale is heavy, will be heavy. Naam. And as for the one who his scale will be heavy, I want you to understand that this here is a clear refutation upon the mubtadi'ah, upon the innovators. Those who say that the scale is referring to Allah's justice and it's not going to be a physical scale. No, it's going to be a physical scale. Allah Ta'ala says, for the one who his scale is heavy. This is an indication that it will be a physical scale and that things will be weighed. And that if these things that are weighed are heavy, meaning from the good deeds, then what? What does it mean that is heavy? Rajahat bil hasanat. Naam, Sheikh Abdul Razak, he mentions, he says that his good deeds, his good deeds, they outweighed. They outweighed, ta'at, and that his obedience, وأنواع القربات, and that his obedience and the various types of actions by way in which the individual he draws near unto Allah Azza wa Jal, that this becomes heavy. This becomes heavy inside of the scales. Naam. So this is an indication that what? That things will be weighed. Our good deeds will be weighed. And if the good deeds are weighed in one kef, in one side of the scale, right? Then what's going to go inside the other kef? Bad deeds. So an individual who wants to prepare for this day should be one who strives to increase in good deeds. And hence, why you find that it is a trait of the believers that they increase in doing the voluntary actions. Now, they increase in doing the voluntary actions. Why? Because they're striving to make their scale of good deeds heavy. Right? So they strive with the voluntary actions. And this is because what? It's because when we do things, it's important for us never to be of the mentality and to think that, for example, we pray 2 raka'at, Tahiyyatul Masjid, for example, right? A person should never walk away from that saying, I know that was accepted. No, you don't know. You hope it was accepted and you fear it wasn't. Now, you hope it was accepted and you fear it wasn't. So we should never walk away from any good deed saying, yeah, I got that one. Check another one. No, we don't know. And because we don't know, then that's an encouragement for us to what? To do more. Because we don't know. So we want to do more. We want to do more because we fear that it won't be accepted. We hope it will be accepted, but we fear it won't be accepted. So this is a motivation for us to do more and to do more. And hence, this is why it is from the characteristics of the righteous people to do voluntary good deeds. And I want us to think about that because I know we get busy. I know we get distracted. I know work busy us. School distracts us and so on and so forth. But we have to stop and think. I'm serious now. I'm serious. I want everyone to stop and think and to really sit down with themselves and have a one-on-one honest conversation with themselves and ask yourself, when was the last time we prayed the rawatib, the sunan, al-qabliyya wal-ba'diyya around dhuhr? The last time we prayed the sunnah prayers around dhuhr, those that come before and those that come after. And I'm concentrating on dhuhr because that's right smack middle of the day. Naam. And then also, what other sunnah prayers have we prayed? Either before or after our obligatory prayers. Naam. And of course, right smack in the middle of the day. I understand that. But check this out. No matter when we get that break in the middle of the day, usually it's around dhuhr time. Usually it's in the time of dhuhr, right? No matter when that may fall, no matter what we may be doing, we make sure we have time to eat. Correct? We make sure we have time to eat. Even if we have to leave our place of work or leave our place of study and to go to an adjacent restaurant, we make sure we have time to go and get something to eat. And it may take you 10 minutes to go there, right? 10 minutes to get back. That's 20 minutes. Correct? 20 minutes. Just getting there. Not to mention the lines, because it's lunchtime, so a lot of people's at lunch at the same time. The lines you may experience once you get there, so you might wait online another 5 minutes before you can place your order. Correct? So already that's like 25 minutes dedicated. And that's, yeah, it could be give or take, closer, later, whatever. But the point is that in the time that it took to get there, how long does it take for you to pray Sunnah prayers? 2 rak'at, then 2 rak'at. Not 10 minutes, not 15, 20 minutes. Right? But, and if you add all the time together, of course, not all that time. So I'm saying this to say is that if we put a little preparation, just a little preparation, and not just for the sake of our stomachs, but preparation, for example, if you know that it may take you 20 minutes to go and come back, then it will behoove you to pack a lunch. Not only will you save money, right? Not only will you save money and eat more healthy, right? But you'll save what? Time. So now instead of going there and spending time in traffic and the frustration, now you can do what? Now you have time to at least to pray 2 rak'at around prayer. Just 2. Right? And to become familiar or to acclimate yourself to praying the sunnah al-qabliyya wal-ba'diyya. Now, to pray for the 4 sunnah prayers before dhuhr, and then what? And then the 2 after. You can do it. If just a little bit, take a little bit of preparation. You can do it. We can do it. Okay? So, ala kulli hal, in any event, this is just something to think about. But the people who are concerned with this day and know that it's going to come a time where the deeds will be waived, and they try to come with a lot of voluntary deeds, and this is in addition to the obligatory deeds. So now if you have anyone that has problem with the obligatory deeds, then they really are in trouble. They really need to get their acts together in preparation for this day. Ma'am? Because the one who his good deeds will be heavy upon that day, Allah Ta'ala says, فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ, then he will be in a good life. Now, he will live a pleasant life. Where? In paradise, in Jannah. He will be in a good life, in Jannah. Fi Jannah al-khuld, he will be in Jannah forever. Fi na'im, muqim, he will be in bliss that won't end. Could you imagine bliss, happiness? It doesn't end. The dunya, why would anyone want to trade the dunya? Why? In the dunya, we get happy, right? Yeah. But we also get sad too. Happiness don't last. It's followed by complacency, where you're just indifferent, you don't care. Or by what? Sadness. When you're sad, things make you sad. Doesn't last. In Jannah, not like that. Jannah, there's no boredom, no complacency, there's no sadness, there's no worry. In Jannah, it's all happiness. It's all bliss. Everything is lovely forever. نعم. في نعيم مقيم لا يحول ولا يزول أبدا الآباد. It will never end. It will never cease. It will never come to a conclusion. You'll never be put out. The situation will never change to something else. No, it'll always be good. Always. Forever. قَرِيرَةٌ عَيْنُهُ. The gratifying of his eye, the coolant of his eye, complete pleasure. وَمِنَّةٌ بِمِنَّةِ اللَّهِ, by the bounty of Allah Azza wa Jal alayhi, that Allah Ta'ala puts upon the believing slaves, وَفَضْلِهِ, and from Allah's bounty upon them, Jalla wa ala, from Allah's bounty, that the individual, he will be radiyah, he will be happy. He will be happy. not just happy, yani he will want for nothing. He won't want for anything. وَلِهَذَا جَاءَ فِي الْحَدِيثِ الصَّحِيحِ. And for this it comes in an authentic hadith that has been collected by Imam Muslim. So the hadith has been collected by Imam Muslim. عن صهيب رضي الله تعالى عنه. That the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, إِذَا دَخَلَ أَهْلَ جَنَّةِ الْجَنَّةِ. That when the people of Jannah enter into Jannah, يقول الله تبارك وتعالى, that Allah, most glorified and most lofty is He will ask them, تُرِيدُونَ شَيْئًا أَزِيدُكُمْ. Do you need anything? I shall increase you. That when the people of Jannah enter into Jannah, from everything that they will receive inside of the Jannah, from all of the bliss and all of the blessings and the pleasures of Jannah, Allah Ta'ala will say, once they have entered, right? Do you need anything? You want anything? Do you want anything else so I can increase you? Do you want anything else? I'll give it to you. Anything else? Do you want it? The people of Jannah, as we say, they want for nothing. فَيَقُولُونَ, they will say, أَلَمْ تُضَيِّبُ وُجُوهَنَا. Have you not brightened our faces? أَلَمْ تُدْخِلْنَا الْجَنَّةَ وَتُجَنِّبْنَا وَتُنَجِّينَا عَفْوًا وَأَنْ تُنَجِّينَا مِنَ النَّارِ. And have you not entered us into Jannah, and you have saved us from the fire? And you have saved us from the fire. Meaning that there's nothing. They will be given so much that not a single one from amongst them would think of anything else that they can possibly desire. Why? Because everything that the heart could desire, we will have it. We will already have it. Now, and I'm saying we praying that Allah Ta'ala makes all of us from the people of Jannah. The people of Jannah, they already have everything that they can possibly imagine. But Allah Ta'ala, He will give to them something which is better than everything that preceded in blessings. Something that is better than every bliss that they had already gotten, that they didn't imagine, that they didn't think about. فَيَكْشِفُ الْحِجَابِ. And then the hijab, the screen will be removed. Naam, will be removed. فَمَا أُعْتُوا شَيْئًا, meaning it will be removed so that the occupants of Jannah will be able to see Allah Azza wa Jal. You see? They will be able to see Allah Azza wa Jal. وَمَا أُعْتُوا شَيْئًا أَحَبَّ إِلَيْهِمْ مِنْ نَظَرِ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ. And they, Azza wa Jal, and they will not have been given anything that will be more beloved unto them than looking at their Lord Azza wa Jal. That will be the best part of Jannah, is looking at Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, the best part. So all of the bliss of Jannah, think about, yani from the houses, from the castles, from the fruits, from the the food, the wives, the children, and everything you can think about in Jannah. It's nothing compared to the to be able to look at our Lord Azza wa Jal. This is the best part of the Jannah. But this is for those who work hard, starting from right now. From right now. You see, these surah, and I want you, all of us, to really reflect upon them, that if we would implement these chapters that the Shaykh he advises that we memorize, we learn how to read correctly, we learn how they should be recited correctly, we recite them correctly, we memorize them, and we understand their meanings. We study the tafsir. If we were to implement these chapters in our life will change and will be enriched in such amazing ways. Amazing ways. Our lives will be enriched. Now, Sheikh Abdul Razak, he goes on and he says, to make dua, he says, جعلنا الله أجمعين منهم بمنته أو بمنه وكرمه. May Allah make all of us. جعلنا الله. May Allah make all of us, أجمعين, all of us, from them, from the people of Jannah, by His bounty and by His generosity. The opposite, because remember, this is the one. There's only going to be two options. This is the one option. The second option is not an option that anyone that has a mind wants. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُ, and for the one who his scale is light, بِالسَّيِّئَاتِ وَالْمَعَاصِي وَالذُّنُوبِ, is light because it has been outweighed by sins, transgression, criminal behavior. It has been outweighed by these things. Well, the one who his sins outweigh his good deeds, and I want you to think about this, because in order for an individual sin to outweigh his good deeds, subhanAllah, he got to come with a lot of sins, right? Or he was a kafir, no, let me take that back. Let me take this back. It means that he will have a lot of sins. Because the ulama, they explain that as far as the kuffar, there's no weighing for them because they have no good deeds. Right? The kuffar, there is no weighing for them because they don't have any good deeds. So there's nothing to weigh. You see, the kuffar is just bad deeds. Okay? So in order for an individual, for his sins to outweigh his good deeds, he has to be a very corrupt and evil person, given the fact that the deeds for the Muslim is multiplied by 10, the good deeds, and the evil deed is only marked against us as one bad deed. You follow? That the good deeds is multiplied by 10 as a given. As a given. The ulama, they say that the multiplication of 10, this is a given for every believer. And then up to 700 times based upon the purity of a person's intention, so on and so forth. Right? His niyyah, the purity of his niyyah, so on and so forth. All the way up to 700 sometimes. So it could be multiplied by 10 or 500 times or 600 times or 700 times or and even more than that for one good deed. Whereas one bad deed is marked against as one. So in order, follow me, if a person did a good deed and it was multiplied, let's just go by the given by 10, right? He will have to equally do 11 bad deeds to outweigh that one good deed. So in order for an individual, bad deeds to outweigh his good deeds, he did a lot of bad deeds. He did a lot of bad deeds. A lot of bad deeds. As far as the kuffar, they just finished because they got no good deeds for them. So the kuffar just done. So for the one who his bad deeds are more, Allah Ta'ala, He says, فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. Then for this individual, his here meaning what? His place of abode, his home, will be the hawiyah. The hellfire. A pit in the hellfire. His abode will be the hawiyah. أَنَّ النَّارِ هِيَ مَأْوَاهُ وَهِيَ مَكَانُهُ. Meaning that the fire, this will be his place of abode. This will be where for him. This is his place, the fire. وَقِيلَ أُمُّهُ, and it said, أُمُّهُ رَأْسُهُ. It said that his here meaning his ra's, his head. رَأْسُهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. That his head will be for the hawiyah, يَهْوَى عَلَى رَأْسِهِ فِي النَّارِ. That this is an indication by this, what we understand from this, or could be understood from this, is that this individual, he will be plunged, he will fall into the fire, be thrown and plunged and slammed down into the fire on his head. On his head. He'll be plunged head first, face first into the fire. Upon his head, inside of the fire. So not only are they put into the fire, but they put into the fire in a humiliating fashion and a humiliating manner. And this is what they deserve, because these are those who their bad deeds outweigh their good deeds. So we know the level of corruption this person had to be upon for that situation to be as such. For that situation to be as such. Na'am. And then Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. And what will make you understand what it is? And remember, the likes of these questions are asked so as to show you the importance of something. to show you that this is serious, that this is of tremendous importance, and so on and so forth. What will make you understand what it is? هذه الهاوية. This hawiyah, this pit. What will make you understand what it is? تعظيم لأمرها, showing that this is something that is serious. This is an affair that is seriousness is magnified. It's magnificent in the seriousness. It's extremely serious. وبيان لخطورتها, and it shows you the extreme danger of it. Now, the extreme danger, that this is extremely dangerous, extremely serious situation. What will make you understand what this hawiyah is? This hawiyah that none of us want to know, in reality. We just want to know theoretically. Theoretically. We read the ayah, we understand the theory, the concept. But we never want to know what it is. We never want to taste it. We never want to experience it. Never. We seek refuge in Allah Ta'ala from the hellfire. Ameen. What will make you understand what it is? Allah Ta'ala says, Narun Hamiyah. This is a furnace-y, blazing fire. This is a fire that burns with tremendous veracity. It burns tremendously. It's not like anything we ever want to ever experience. The Shaykh, he says, Narun Shadidatun Muharriqa or Muhriqa, that this is a fire that it is tremendous and it devours by fire. It burns to a crisp, everything. It burns it. Burns. But as we know, for the individuals in the fire, as soon as this skin gets burned, it go put back again. As soon as it's burned, it's put back. As soon as it's burned, it's put back. Now, so there's never any cease to the punishment. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. وَقَدْ جَاءَ الْحَدِيث, and it comes inside a hadith, أَنَّ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and this will show us, and this is an indication to us, because the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, نَارُكُمْ جُزْءٌ مِّن سَبْعِينَ جُزْءًا. He says that your fire, the fire in this world, the hottest fire, right? Now, the hottest fire now. The hottest fire. Which would be what? A plasma burning fire? That we know of. That we know of. Maybe something hotter. Allahu a'lam. But a plasma-based fire, like what? Like the sun? The sun. Okay? The sun. Let's bring it back. The sun is the hottest that we know, right? But even if a person took a lighter and said, I want you to hold your hand here for 2 minutes. You say, no, it's a lighter. It's a lighter. It's not the hottest fire. But you won't even want to do that. If a person, had a gas stove, he put the burner on. He said, put your hand in it. You say, no, you think it's crazy. I'll put my hand in that. Right? How many people in the burn ward are burnt, and they were only, 3rd-degree burns, and they were only in the flames for a few seconds, 5 seconds, completely disfigured, 10 seconds, completely disfigured, right? This is the fire of the dunya. So now, okay, the sun, of course, you get, khalas, you ain't touching that, you're done, right? Be done, be ashes, nothing. This fire here in this dunya is only one part. Now, juz'un is one part. Min sab'ina juz'an min nari jahannam is one of 70 parts of the fire. Is one of 70 parts of the fire of the hell. That, we understand the words. We understand the words. But the concept of such is so overwhelming that we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we never know its reality. And the Shaykh, he says, أَعَاذَنَ اللَّهُ مِنْهَا. May Allah save us from it and protect us from it. And then the Shaykh, he gets into the next surah, a tremendous surah. Naam. But we will save that until the next class. فنكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.